The vast chamber of the interstellar concordance glittered under soft blue light. Crystal walls rose high, catching every sound and sending it back in gentle echoes. Hundreds of beings from dozens of species sat in curved rows. Tall Virene with glowing skin sat next to short, hard-shelled Kazath. Slow-moving Gorath, their stone bodies heavy, rested in wide seats. Thin, floating Asari drifted like clouds above their places. At the center stood the human delegation, 5 people in plain gray uniforms. At their head was Ambassador Elena Voss. She was a woman in her late 40s. Her dark hair was pulled back tight. Her eyes were calm, almost cold. She looked small among the tall aliens, but no one in the room felt she was weak. The session had been called urgent. The agenda was short and sharp. For years, the Council had passed rules against humans. No ship could accelerate too fast. No artificial minds could think freely. No weapons could be placed in orbits that could strike planets. The latest rule, Resolution 17 Alpha, ordered Earth to take down 2 large railgun platforms hidden in the distant Uit cloud. The Council said they were a danger to peace. The presiding officer, a tall Virene named Luril, raised one glowing hand. The floor is given to the Terran delegation. Elena Voss stepped forward. She carried no notes. She did not look nervous. The room became very quiet. Even the soft hum of translation devices seemed to fade. She spoke in clear, simple words. People of the Concordance, I speak for the United Terran Conquered. We have listened to this body for 200 years. We have followed your rules. We have shared our technology. We have sent our ships to guard your borders. We have fed your worlds when famine came. We have answered every call for help. You have answered with limits, with warnings, with new rules every few years. You call our drive to grow a sickness. You call our weapons a threat. You call our children too many. You have treated us not as partners but as children who must be watched. Today that ends. A low murmur moved through the chamber. The Kazath clicked their mandibles. The Gorath shifted their heavy bodies. Luril's glow flickered in surprise. Elena continued. Effective immediately, the United Terran Conquered withdraws from all diplomatic ties with the Interstellar Concordance. All treaties are ended. All agreements are void. All envoys are recalled. All shared stations and outposts will be emptied within 72 standard hours. No further messages will be sent or received through this council. She paused. The silence was thick. You asked why. Here is the answer. We are done asking permission to live. We are done proving we are safe. We are done pretending your fear is our fault. You wanted control. You have it no longer. A Virene delegate stood. His voice came sharp through the translators. This is madness. You cannot simply leave. The galaxy depends on your trade, your antimatter, your... Elena turned her head slightly. We know. That is why we are leaving. She looked around the room once more. Her face showed no anger, only certainty. The evacuation begins now. Our ships are already moving. Do not attempt to stop them. Do not send messages to our worlds. They will not be answered. She nodded once to her team. The 5 humans turned together. They walked toward the wide exit doors. Their steps were even and calm. No one rushed. No one looked back. Behind them, the chamber exploded into noise. Luril tried to call for order. Her voice was lost in the storm of shouts, clicks, and translated cries. A Gorath pounded the floor with one massive fist, cracking the smooth stone. Kazath swarmed closer to each other, their minds linking in fast panic. Asari swirled upward in distress, their misty bodies turning dark gray. On the huge screens above, live feeds showed the truth. Human transport ships were already breaking orbit around Aelthar Prime. Cargo bays opened. Personnel in gray suits moved quickly but without panic. Crates were sealed. Lights blinked green as systems shut down. One by one, the sleek Terran vessels turned their noses away from the planet and lit their drives. Bright plumes of fusion fire pushed them toward the jump points. In the diplomatic wing, human staff walked out of offices. They carried small bags. They left doors open. On desks they left single sheets of paper. Each sheet held the same words in large print. Closed, no further contact. A young Kazath worker followed one human down the hall, pleading in broken standard. Please wait, we can talk, we can fix. The human stopped for 1 second. He looked down at the small creature. Talk time ended 2 centuries ago, he said quietly. Then he kept walking. Outside the main chamber, Elena Voss paused at the top of the wide stairs. She looked back once. Through the open doors she could see the chaos. Delegates arguing, some crying out in fear, others already sending urgent messages to their home worlds. She felt no joy, she felt no hate, she felt only relief, like a heavy chain falling away. A member of her team, Captain Rizam Malik, stepped beside her. He was tall with a short black beard. They're already calling it the walkout, he said. Some are saying we're bluffing. Elena gave a small, tired smile. Let them think that. It will make the lesson sharper. They descended the stairs together. At the bottom, a sleek black shuttle waited. Its engines were already warm. As they boarded, the pilot's voice came over the internal comm. Ambassador, Sol Control sends confirmation. All recall orders are in motion. Jump window opens in 9 minutes. Elena sat in the forward seat. She looked out the viewport at the glowing spires of Aelthar Prime. The city looked peaceful from up here. Beautiful, fragile. Take us home, she said. The shuttle lifted smoothly. It rose above the towers, above the landing fields, above the atmosphere. Below, the lights of the capital began to dim as human sections went dark. In the council chamber, Lurel finally regained control. She raised both hands high. Her glow flared bright white. Silence, she commanded. The noise dropped, but the fear remained. She looked at the empty human seats, then at the screens showing departing ships. What have we done? She whispered. No one answered. Far beyond the system's edge, the first human vessels reached their jump points. Engines flared, space folded. One by one they vanished into the dark. The galaxy felt the first small tremor of something new. Something cold. Something waiting. The news of the walkout spread like fire through dry grass. Within hours, every news feed in the galaxy carried the same headline in 100 languages and pictograms. Humans leave council. No warning. No return. On Aelthar Prime, the council chamber stayed lit all night. Delegates did not sleep. They argued, shouted, and sent urgent messages home. The huge screens showed empty human docking bays. Human offices stood dark. Only cleaning drones moved through the halls now, their soft whirring the only sound. Lurel, the Virene presiding officer, stood at the center podium. Her glow had dimmed to a pale blue. She looked tired. We must understand what this means, she said. We must act. A Kazath analyst named T. Kazath rose. His many eyes clicked as he spoke. Numbers do not lie. Humans control 38% of rare element processing, 47% of antimatter production knowledge, 62% of fast response security forces in neutral zones. If they stop all trade and help, our systems will fail in months. A Gorath delegate, heavy and slow, rumbled. Then we take what we need. Blockade their worlds, force them back. Tkazath's mandibles snapped. Blockade. Their ships are faster, their weapons stronger. We have seen their drills, they do not fight fair. The Asari representative floated higher, its misty form swirled. We must send words of peace. A fleet of calm ships. Show we wish to talk again. Lurel nodded slowly. We will try words first, but prepare for more. Across the galaxy, the first cracks appeared. On the trade world of Nexara 7, a large station hung in orbit. It processed helium-3 for fusion plants across 3 sectors. Every week, human freighters arrived with full tanks. The station manager, a thin Virene named Sira, checked her screens that morning. No human ships on approach. No messages. The schedule was blank. She sent a query to the last known human contact point. No answer. By evening, the station's main reactor dropped to 60% power. Lights dimmed. Workers whispered. Sierra stood on the command deck, staring at empty space. "They are really gone," she said to no one. On a mining colony in the Tau Ceti belt, a Kzath swarm dug deep for palladium. Their machines needed constant coolant from human-supplied cryofluid. The last shipment had arrived 2 weeks before the walkout. Now the tanks were almost empty. The swarm leader sent distress calls. The council promised help, but the old supply ships were slow, too slow. One by one, small disasters grew. A luxury resort on Virene's Pearl Moon lost its primary cooling loop. The oceans began to heat. Fish died. Rich guests screamed for evacuation. The resort owners begged the council for aid. The council had no spare parts. Human factories had made most of them. Panic turned to anger. Many blamed the humans. "They are punishing us," a Gorath captain roared in a public broadcast. "They want us to beg." Others were quieter. A few wise ones remembered. Humans had warned them many times. The rules had grown tighter every decade. Humans had asked for equal voice. The council had said no. Now the price came due. On Earth, the mood was different. In the vast halls of the Terran Security Directorate on Luna, Elena Voss stood before a wall of screens. Maps showed human space. Sol, Alpha Centauri, Barnard Star, dozens of colony worlds. Red lines marked the new borders. Beyond those lines, space belonged to no one, or so the humans now claimed. Captain Rizam Malik stood beside her. "Reports from the outer stations. All personnel are back. All equipment removed or destroyed. Nothing left for scavengers." Elena nodded. "Good, now the real work begins." Below them, in huge underground factories, machines roared. Old civilian shipyards changed overnight. Freighters became carriers. Research labs opened sealed doors. Forbidden projects, AI cores without limits, drive systems that bent rules of physics, received full funding. Engineers worked in shifts around the clock. No one complained. In one large hall, a team tested a new railgun. The barrel stretched 50 meters. When it fired, the test slug reached 20% lightspeed in seconds. The recoil shook the floor. The lead engineer, a young woman named Lin Chen, smiled. "They said this was too dangerous. Now we build 10 more." Elena walked through the halls. Workers nodded to her. Some saluted. She stopped at a window overlooking a new shipyard in the Kuiper Belt. Dozens of dark hulls floated in formation. They had no bright running lights. No flags, just cold metal and silent purpose. Rizad joined her. "They still think we're bluffing," he said. "Our old friends in the council are calling it a tantrum." Elena's voice was soft. "Let them. The longer they believe that, the more time we have." A message came in from an outer listening post. A small alien scout ship had approached the new border. It sent friendly hails. The human destroyer on patrol answered with one sentence: "Turn back. This space is closed." The scout ship left quickly. Elena turned away from the window. "Phase 1 is complete. We are silent. We are ready. Now we wait." Back at Aelthar Prime, the council met again. This time the room felt smaller. Many seats stayed empty. Some species had already sent private messages to human contacts, begging for secret trade. The council pretended not to notice. Lurel spoke to the remaining delegates. "Our supply chains break. Our people suffer. We must decide. Do we force the issue, or do we wait?" A quiet Essari diplomat spoke up. Its voice was thin. "We pushed them too far. We treated them like tools, not equals. Now the tools are gone." No one argued. Outside the chamber, in the quiet corridors, a single human plaque still hung on a wall. It read, "Closed due to irreconcilable differences." A young Kzath worker stopped and stared at it. He reached out one claw and touched the words. He did not understand them fully, but he felt the weight. Far away in the dark between stars, the first human long-range probe slipped past old Council sensor nets. They moved quiet, they watched, they learned. The galaxy waited for the next move. It did not know the humans had already made it. 3 months had passed since the walkout. The galaxy no longer felt the same. Trade routes that once buzzed with ships now stood quiet. Freighters waited in docks for cargo that never came. Prices climbed fast. Iridium doubled, palladium tripled. Helium-3 became so rare that some worlds rationed power. Lights went out in factories. Hospitals ran on backup generators. People whispered the same fear. The humans are gone, and they took the future with them. On Aelthar Prime, the council chamber looked half dead. Many seats stayed empty. Delegates from smaller species had left early, too ashamed or too desperate to stay. The ones who remained argued in low voices. No one shouted anymore. Anger had turned to worry. Lurel stood at the podium again. Her glow was weak, almost gray. "We sent the peace fleet," she said. 5 ships, mixed crews, no weapons. They carried gifts and offers. They only wanted to talk. The room waited. She played the recording. A single human voice came through the speakers. It was calm and flat. "This is the outer defense perimeter. Turn around. There will be no second warning." On the screen, the image showed one human destroyer, the T. Roosevelt. It floated alone at the edge of the heliopause. Its hull was black and smooth. No bright markings, no welcoming lights. Behind it, faint shapes moved, hundreds of small dots. Drones, mines, fast kinetic impactors. They did not attack. They just waited. The Asari commander of the Peace Fleet had asked for parley. The human captain answered once more. "Parley ended 92 days ago. Leave." The fleet turned back. No shots fired, no chase, just silence. Back in the chamber, a Gorath delegate spoke. His voice was deep and slow. "They did not even threaten us. They did not need to." TK Zath, the K-Zath analyst, clicked softly. "Scans show new construction in the Kuiper Belt. Large structures, shipyards, perhaps weapons platforms. The signals are encrypted, but they are not signals of panic. They are signals of work." A young Virene delegate stood. Her glow flickered with fear. "What if they come for us? What if they decide we are the threat now?" No one answered right away. Lurel closed her eyes for a moment. "They are not coming yet. They are waiting. That is worse." Across known space, the absence grew heavier. A border dispute flared between K-Zath hives and a weak client species in the Eridani sector. Normally, human peacekeepers would arrive within days. Neutral ships, blue and white hulls, calm voices. They would stand between the fighters and force talks. This time, no one came. The K-Zath won quickly. They did not hold back. Orbital strikes, ground troops. The client world surrendered in tears. News feeds showed smoking cities and broken domes. The galaxy watched and learned one hard truth. The human shield was gone. Pirates moved in next. Old Gorath clans turned rogue. They hit weak trade lanes that humans used to protect. They used small, fast ships, some looked like old human designs. Salvaged, sold in the last days before the walkout. The council sent warships to hunt them. The pirates laughed and vanished into dark space. On a neutral station called Haven 9, a human trader had stayed behind. He ran a small shop selling spare parts. One night, 3 pirates came in. They demanded everything for free. The trader smiled. He handed over crates. Then he left the station quietly. The next day, the pirates' ship exploded in dock. No trace left. No message. Just a clean, precise kill. Word spread fast. Even pirates started to avoid anything that smelled human. Inside human space, life moved in a new way. The silence had begun. No news broadcasts left Sol. No tourist ships. No science probes. Borders closed tight. Any ship that came close got shadowed by destroyers. A single warning on open channel. Then if they stayed, a flash of light, nothing more. On Earth, cities worked harder than ever. Factories ran day and night. People trained. Soldiers learned new ways to fight. In zero-gravity arenas, they practiced with long blades, sharp metal longer than most alien bodies. They moved fast. They moved quiet. In hidden bases, AI minds grew. No more limits, no more safety locks. They thought deeper, they planned faster. Engineers watched numbers climb, power output, drive efficiency, weapon range. Each day brought better results. Elena Voss walked through one such base on Titan. Cold methane rain fell outside the domes. Inside, lights were bright. Workers in gray suits moved with purpose. She stopped at a large window. Beyond it, a new construct floated in orbit, a sphere the size of a small moon. Sections of it glowed as fusion reactors came online. Rizam Malik joined her. First segment of the swarm is at 60%. In 6 months, it will make more power than the entire old council fleet. Alina nodded. They still think we are angry children throwing a fit. Rizal gave a small smile. Let them keep thinking that. A message came in from an outer listening post. A small alien cargo ship had tried to slip through the border. It carried gifts, rare crystals, peace tokens. The patrol destroyer scanned it. Then sent one line. Gifts not accepted. Turn back or be destroyed. The ship turned back. Alina looked out at the dark. They will keep trying, they will keep failing, until one day they stop trying. Far away on Aelthar Prime, a single sensor tech in the council tower caught something strange. A faint broadband pulse from human space. Not a distress call, not a message, just raw data, strong, steady, like a heartbeat. She reported it, the analysts studied it. They could not break the code, but they understood one thing. It was not a cry for help. It was a promise. The galaxy began to feel watched. Not by anger. Not by hate. By something patient. Something certain. And very, very strong. 9 months had passed since the humans walked away. The galaxy no longer whispered about the walkout. It spoke of it in fear. The cracks had become wide breaks. Trade stopped flowing in many places. Worlds that once depended on human parts now scavenged old ships or paid high prices to black market dealers. Some species faced hunger. Others faced darkness when power plants failed. The council tried to fix things with old supply lines. The old lines were slow and weak. They broke under the strain. A small war started in the outer reaches of the Perseus Arm. 2 minor species fought over a mining asteroid. The Kazath hive saw a chance. They sent swarm ships. No human peacekeepers arrived. The fighting lasted only days. The Kazath took the asteroid. They did not show mercy. Debris floated in orbit. Bodies drifted in the cold. News feeds carried the images. Everyone saw what happened when the humans did not step in. Other powers watched closely. The old human shield was gone. Now anyone could strike. Borders felt thin. Trust felt thinner. Pirates grew bold. Rogue Gorath clans hit trade convoys that once flew under human protection. They used fast cutters and boarding teams. Some of their ships carried human weapons, railguns, point defense lasers, bought cheap in the last days before the borders closed. The council sent fleets to hunt them. The pirates slipped away. They hid in dark nebula clouds or jumped to places the council could not follow. One pirate leader, a scarred Gorath named Vrak, laughed in a secret broadcast. The humans left a gift, he said. Their toys still work, and they no longer guard the playground. But even pirates began to feel uneasy. A convoy they attacked near the old human trade lane vanished. No distress call, no wreckage, just gone. Rumors spread. Some said the humans still watched those lanes, quietly, from far away. Inside human space, the opposite happened. Order grew stronger. The silence became law. No one spoke to the outside. No signals left Saul or the colonies. Ships that crossed the line were met fast. A warning flash. Then, if ignored, a bright streak. The intruder became vapor, clean, quick, no survivors to tell tales. On Mars, training grounds stretched for kilometers. Soldiers ran drills in full armor. They fought in low gravity with long blades, curved metal longer than most aliens stood tall. They moved like shadows, silent, deadly. Instructors watched from towers. They nodded. The old rules were gone. Now they trained to win. Deep in the asteroid belt, shipyards worked without pause. Dark hulls grew longer each day. Engines tested in secret. Drives that twisted space in ways the Council had banned. AI minds ran simulations. They found new paths, new weapons, new ways to break things that once seemed unbreakable. A spherical station took shape near Neptune. It was the first full segment of the Dyson swarm. Panels opened like flower petals. Fusion reactors hummed. Power flowed in numbers too large to believe. One engineer looked at the readings and whispered, "We could light 100 worlds with this, or burn them." Elena Voss stood on a balcony overlooking the construction. Cold wind whipped her coat. Rizam Malik stood beside her. "They are starting to understand," Rizam said. "Our scouts picked up chatter. The Council knows we build. They fear what comes next." Elena watched the swarm grow. Lights flickered across its surface. Good, fear is honest. A small alien trader ship had tried to slip through the border last week. It carried a defector, a nervous Virene mechanic who once worked on human stations. He begged for asylum. The patrol destroyer scanned him, then sent him back with one message: "We do not take defectors. We do not need your secrets. Go home." The mechanic returned to Aelthar Prime. He told his story in a closed room. The Council listened. His words were simple. Inside their space, it is not chaos, it is focus. Factories never stop. Soldiers train every day. Ships grow in the dark. They do not shout, they do not beg, they prepare. He paused, his glow dimmed. And they have blades, long ones for close work. They say space is big, but when it gets small, they want it personal. The Council chamber grew quiet after that. Lurel called a private meeting. Only the oldest delegates came. No recordings, no notes. The Virene luminary spoke first. Her voice shook. "We thought they would collapse. We thought isolation would break them. They are not broken, they are stronger." Tkzath clicked slowly. "Our models fail. We calculated collapse in 6 months. We are past 9. Their economy should scream. Instead, it grows." The Asari floated low. "They do not trade, they do not need us. They remake themselves." A Gorath elder rumbled. "We pushed them. We set rules. We called them dangerous. Now they show us danger." Lurel looked at each face. "What do we do?" No one answered at first. Then the Virene luminary said the words everyone feared. "They are not waiting to be forgiven. They are preparing to be feared." The room stayed silent a long time. Outside, on the edge of human space, a lone probe drifted. It belonged to the Council, small, stealthy. It watched from far away. It saw shadows move. It saw new shapes in the dark. It sent one burst of data home before a silent flash ended it. The data reached Aelthar Prime. Analysts opened it. They saw blurry images, huge rings, massive drives, ships in formation, and something else. A single human figure in armor, standing on a hull, holding a long blade, looking straight at the probe. The analysts froze. The figure raised one hand, not in threat, in salute. Then the image cut to black. The Council understood. The humans knew they were watched. And they did not care. 9 months in, the galaxy began to fracture more. Some worlds opened secret channels, small trades at first, then larger. They whispered to human outposts. "We need parts, we pay well." Some got answers. Quiet deals in neutral space. Others got silence. The Council pretended not to see. But everyone knew. The old order was dying. And in the quiet dark, something new rose. Patient, strong, Ready, 2 years had passed since the humans walked out of the council chamber. The interstellar concordance was now a ghost of what it once was. The great crystal hall on Aelthar Prime stood mostly empty. Dust gathered on unused seats. Many rows were draped in black cloth, one for each species that had quietly left. Some went home to rebuild alone. Others opened secret talks with human outposts. A few simply vanished into the dark, too afraid or too broken to stay. The remaining delegates met in a smaller room now. No grand podium, no bright lights, just a plain table and tired faces. Laurel still presided, but her glow was faint. She looked older. Everyone did. Trade had collapsed in many sectors. Worlds once rich now rationed food and power. Factories stood silent without human parts. Hospitals turned patients away. Riots broke out on weaker planets. The council could no longer promise help. There was no help left to give. Some species blamed the humans. Others blamed themselves. Most just felt tired. A final summit was called, the last desperate try. Invitations went out in every language. Few answered, but one reply came. A single human ship appeared at the edge of Aelthar space. It broadcast one message. We will send one representative. No fleet, no weapons, 1 hour only. The council agreed faster than ever before. The day arrived. The chamber was cleaned. Lights turned on. Delegates filled the few open seats. They waited in silence. The wide doors opened. Elena Voss walked in alone. She looked different. Her hair was shorter, streaked with gray. Her face carried new lines. She wore the same gray uniform, but now it had small patches, marks of battles or service no one knew about. 2 Marines followed her, tall, silent. Their armor was matte black. It seemed to drink the light. They carried no visible guns, only long blades sheathed at their sides. Elena stopped at the center of the room. She looked around slowly. No smile, no anger, just calm eyes. Laurel stood. Her voice trembled a little. Ambassador Voss, thank you for coming. Elena nodded once. The Gorath elder at the table spoke first. His voice was rough. What do you want? Elena answered without pause. Nothing. The word hung in the air. She continued. We wanted partnership once. Equal voices, shared futures. You offered rules, supervision, warnings. You called us dangerous children. You capped our growth. You feared our numbers, our ideas, our strength. We asked, you said no. So we stopped asking. A Virene delegate leaned forward. His glow flickered. You cut us off. You let our world suffer. Is this revenge? Elena shook her head. No, this is consequence. You chose fear over trust. We chose freedom over chains. We do not hate you. We simply do not need you anymore. Tkazath clicked softly. Our models failed. We thought you would break. You grew stronger. Why? Elena looked at him. Because we are human, we do not wait for permission to survive. We do not beg when pushed. We build, we adapt, we endure. She reached into her pocket. She placed a small data crystal on the table. It was plain silver, no markings. This is the new reality, she said. The crystal projected a single image above the table. Everyone saw it clearly. A vast ring of human warships circled a completed section of the Dyson swarm. The structure was enormous. Panels stretched for thousands of kilometers. Fusion lights glowed bright. Power readings flashed in numbers too high to believe. More power than the entire old council fleet had ever produced, combined. Ships moved in perfect formation. Dark hulls, silent engines, no flags, no bright lights, just purpose. The image shifted. It showed a new shipyard in the Uit cloud, hundreds of vessels under construction. Some looked like nothing the galaxy had seen before. Sharp angles, strange drives, weapons ports that promised ruin. The projection ended. Elena spoke again. Human space is closed. Cross the line and we respond. No warnings, no tribunals, no mercy. But listen carefully. We have not forgotten how to build bridges. When you are ready to treat us as equals, not as threats, not as tools, not as children, we will listen. Until then." She let the silence stretch. It felt heavy. "Enjoy the quiet." She turned. The two Marines stepped aside. Elena walked toward the doors. A young Asari floated forward. Its misty form shook. "Please, we suffer. Our people die. Help us." Elena stopped. She looked back. "You asked for help many times before. We gave it, every time. You repaid us with more rules, more limits, more fear. Now you ask again. When the suffering ends, come to us as partners, not as beggars. Until then, fix your own house." She walked out. The doors closed behind her with a soft click. The chamber stayed silent for a long minute. Then chaos broke. Voices rose, accusations flew, some delegates cried, others stared at the empty space where the image had been. The Goreth elder pounded the table once. The sound echoed. Lurel sank into her chair. She whispered to herself, "What have we lost?" Outside, Elena boarded her shuttle. The two Marines followed. The ship lifted off without a word. From the viewport, Aelthar Prime looked small, beautiful, broken. Razam Malik waited inside. He had listened to the meeting through a hidden feed. "They are reeling," he said. Elena nodded. "They always were. They just didn't know it until now." The shuttle turned toward the jump point. Engines flared, space folded. Behind them, the galaxy tried to understand what had happened. Some worlds kept sending quiet trade requests. Black market deals grew into open ones. A few brave delegates prepared messages, real offers, equal terms. Most waited. In human space, the work continued. The swarm grew, ships launched, borders stayed sealed. But in quiet rooms on Earth, on Mars, on distant colonies, people talked. Not of war. Not of revenge. Of what came after. Of bridges that might one day be built again. But only when the other side was ready to cross them as equals. Outside in the dark between stars, humanity waited. Not in anger. Not in hiding. In patient, terrifying certainty. The quiet stretched on. And the galaxy listened to it.